folks, it's the Red, and welcome to a series of gameplay review videos that I'm planning to call Red-Trospective. Because puns! Today we're going to be having a look at Banjo-Pilot, as I continue looking at the Banjo-Kazooie series. Although I've been playing every game up to this point blind, I'm not playing through this game. We're just going to do a straight-up review, because I want to show this one off, because it looks pretty interesting. Now, Banjo is no stranger to racing games. After all, his very first appearance was in Diddy Kong Racing, and he would appear in 2010 in the Xbox version of Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing. But Banjo-Pilot is the first and so far only game with his name on it, so let's have a look at it. But before we dive any further into this, it's probably worth noting that this game was originally supposed to be Diddy Kong Pilot, a game idea originally rejected by Nintendo, but later brought back onto the shelf after the purchase of Rareware by Microsoft. It was then converted into Banjo-Pilot, but many of the original Diddy Kong Pilot elements were left in, but we'll cover that later. For now, let's have a look at what we've got going here. Before we actually start analyzing this game for what it is, why don't we first find out how it plays. No kart racer is complete without its obligatory Grand Prix mode, and this game is no exception. Here you compete in a series of races, trying to beat the other racers, outscore them, by outplacing them. Just as you would expect from any kind of racing game like this, it's a tried and true formula. After completing the last race, you don't win the cup just yet. You also then have to go into a dogfight with one of the racers from the game. Shoot them down using various items to win. Each player will take turns going to the front and the back, so you'll need different items depending on where you are. It's a pretty interesting concept. There's also the GRUNTY GP, which is basically mirror mode. The AI is a little harder in this mode as well. And of course we also have quick race mode in case you only want to do a single race with a single character. Time trial mode, of course, lets you race by yourself and try and set the best time you can. There's also the Jiggy Challenge in this game. You go head-to-head with bottles, collect 6 Jiggies, and then try and place first in the race. Let me tell you, this mode is pretty challenging. Cheeto is also in this game. He is how you unlock everything in the game. From characters to additional tracks, anything that needs to be unlocked, you have to go to him for it. So how do you get his pages back? By competing in the races, of course. The more races you compete in, the more pages you'll get. Simple enough. Finally, there's the trophy room that shows you all the various trophies and awards that you've won for all the different game modes you've completed. Let's have a look at who's in this game. Available to you from the very beginning is Banjo-Kazooie, Mumbo Jumbo, and the Purple Jinjo, who sounds really freaking weird in this game. Jinjo! And on the unlockable side, we have Humba-Wumba, Gruntilda, Klungo, Bottles, and Jolly Roger for some reason. Frankly, I don't understand why Jolly Roger is in this game. Why not somebody a little more significant to the series, like Tooty, or King Jingaling, or even Jiggy Wiggy? I don't know. Also, Bottles is freaking cheap in this game. He has the best top speed, he has the best acceleration, and the best turning. Just look at this footage here. I am miles ahead of the competition without even really trying. He is a beast on the track. Why is he so broken in this game? Is this because of Banjo-Tooie? This is likely why he's so hard in the Jiggy Challenge. Some of the tracks you'll find in this game all come from past Banjo-Kazooie games. Well, most of them anyway. In the Honeycomb Cup, which is the first one you play in, we have Spiral Mountain, Jinxie's Dunes, Freeze Easy Peak, and Hailfire Peaks. In the Jiggy Cup, we have Treasure Trove Cove and Gobi's Valley. Clanker seems to have gotten out of his cavern and gotten himself a river. And, of course, that infamous stage that just won't go away, Grunty Industries. It's a little more annoying, but not as bad this time around. Next, in the Beehive Cup, we have Freezing Furnace, Mayhem Temple, Steam Events, and Jolly Roger's Lagoon. And in the Feather Cup, we have Witchy World, Regal Beach, Pterodactyl Land, and Cauldron Keep. Unfortunately, aside from a change of scenery here and there, the tracks all feel pretty samey, and don't really have a lot of uniqueness going for it. For the most part, you're avoiding the same types of obstacles, making the same types of turns, going into the same zippers. It just feels real samey. There's not a lot of variety in the items in this game, but we'll see what we've got here. A lot of the items can be connected with various items seen in Mario Kart. Some familiar, some not so much. Golden feathers should be obvious enough. These are the things that make you invincible. The farther back you are when you use it, the longer it lasts. Turbo trainers, of course, would give you a boost. The fire egg operates a bit like a red shell. It will shoot and home in at the person in front of you. Ice eggs are a trap item that can be dropped behind you. They can also be used to deflect fire eggs. And then we have the Saucer of Peril, which is basically the blue shell of this game. You'll seek out the player in first and try and take them out like a fire egg. And then there's the Minji Jonjo head, which basically acts like lightning in this game. It will disable all the other racers when you use it. So now that we've got the nuts and bolts out of the way, let's see how this game works. Gameplay-wise, of course, you're just flying in circles, trying to get to the end of the race before everybody else, and there's a number of things that you can collect along the way. There are musical notes scattered about the track. The more of them you collect, the more pages you'll collect at the end. So you'll want to try and get as many notes as you can and finish as high as you can to get the maximum number of pages. Also, after you unlock them, Lobos will be seen on the track. If you shoot them, one of the zippers up ahead will change and give you a special ability. From Super Speedy Boost to Autopilot. The plane physics seem to operate pretty similarly to Diddy Kong Racing's planes. You can go up and down and left and right, you can do barrel rolls and loop-de-loops. And you can use loop-de-loops to avoid fire eggs being shot at you. Successfully doing so will get you a boost. Also, for some reason, flying over grass seems to slow you down. This doesn't seem to make any sense. I mean, this would make sense for a kart racer, but we're in planes! Why is going over grass bad? Overall, while the gameplay does feel a bit shaky, I think in the end it works out. The touches that they add to each map are pretty nice too. Hey look, it's Gobi! Hey look, it's Gobi again! Wait, what? As for the music, well, it's probably worth noting that the music was originally designed under its original name, Diddy Kong Pilot, because the music was intended for a Donkey Kong-style game. This is the one thing that didn't change while it was being converted over to Banjo-Pilot. Heck, you can even hear some of the monkey sounds during the results screen. Still, the music that's there is pretty good. It just would be more fitting for a Donkey Kong game, not necessarily Banjo. But it was never intended for Banjo, so I guess I can let it slide. So, how does Banjo-Pilot stack up with other kart racers like it? Here's a few other GBA kart racers to compare to. Well, I certainly think it's one of the better looking ones, ranking up there with Crash Nitro Kart as far as appearance. Or even Mario Kart Super Circuit, really, but then again, Mario Kart Super Circuit was harder to control, and I do think Banjo-Pilot has better controls. I mean, Mario Kart Super Circuit was essentially Super Mario Kart 2, in my opinion. And gameplay-wise, it's about as fun as Konami Crazy Racers, in my opinion. Out of these four, I think I enjoy Konami Crazy Racers the most, but Banjo-Pilot is pretty enjoyable as well. Overall, I think I would give Banjo-Pilot a 7 out of 10. Which might be a little generous, but as far as GBA racers go, I think it does the job fairly well. As far as multiplayer is concerned, all you really have is a single race and a dogfight mode. And both players would need their own pack to play this game, so yeah. My final recommendation for this game? I think it's one of the better Game Boy Advance kart racers on the market. It's certainly better than, say, Cartoon Network Speedway, or Shrek Swamp Kart. Overall, I think it's a pretty good game. Might be worth checking out if you want a new kart racer for your Game Boy Advance. Happy flying!